Hi there, I'm Chef Celeste and welcome to my Louisiana kitchen, where I'm going to take you all around Louisiana through food. I'm going to show you why I've grown to love the Louisiana cuisine, and I know you will too. On this episode, we're going shrimp, and more shrimp. We have our Louisiana Gulf shrimp. We're going to make a sauteed shrimp salad, and we're going to make a shrimp pasta. Nice, simple, delicious. So stay tuned. We're going to get started on the ingredients. I have my 2125, my large Gulf shrimp. Then I also have my salad greens, whatever you like. I'm using some romaine. You can use iceberg, whatever your favorite green is, that's what I want you to use. Then we're going to add some tomatoes on there. I have some sun-dried tomatoes also, so we have fresh and we have sun-dried. Then I'm making a honey mustard in the back. That's going to go on our salad. In the pasta, we have our spaghetti. We have more sun-dried tomatoes. I have onions, we have green beans, salt, pepper, garlic, the things that you have in your pantry, and we've talked about what needs to be in your pantry. Salt, pepper, garlic. We're going to add some other things in there too, and we're going to put this dish together. So, we'll be right back. So, first things first, we're going to get the water to boiling. When you're cooking pasta and rice, remember this here, you have to salt the water. It's not going to be, don't add too much for it to be overly salty, but we're adding depth of flavor, so make sure you salt the water, very important. So I have my cast iron skillet warm already. I'm going to add my oil in here, because we're doing sauteed shrimp salad. Now, I'm going to add in my shrimp. Look at these bad boys going in. I'm not going to add all of it in because some of it's going for the pasta. So let that sit. While we're working on that, we're going to add a little, just a touch of salt to that. And this is our Louisiana Gulf shrimp. So I want to thank our Office of Tourism for the seafood. We have wonderful seafood. We're going to add some pepper on here, as much as you can stand. Remember, we're going to add the heat. Add some cayenne on there. I'm going to add some of my seasoning. Where you at? Seasoning. We're going to add some of the cracked black pepper on here. So let's get that going. Also, I like to sprinkle. So let me get that in my hand and just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. And just let it cook. You see how it's starting to plump up for you, and the color starting to change. This is what you're looking for right here. Okay, so just let it rest for a minute. I'm not going to bother the nice, pretty shrimp. So we have different areas with different cuisine around the great state of Louisiana. This is the Gulf shrimp here, but we have northern Louisiana. We have our southern region, and they all do something a little bit different. But when you come down, make sure you check out, or you can pull it up online, the swamp tours, where you're going to see alligators. People actually feed the alligators. You can actually touch a little baby alligator. It's so cool to come down and do things like that. Then you have, we have our areas where you may have trees and things like that that are protected. We have cypress trees. We have furniture that's made out of that. It is so many different things that you can come down and find out about Louisiana. But when you're talking about the food, you know about New Orleans. New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans. It is wonderful. But what about Lafayette? What about Baton Rouge? We have some great chefs there, some great cuisine. So make sure when you're planning that trip, then go around the state. When you're planning that cooking party, look up different things that we cook in different areas. You're going to learn the difference between Creole, Cajun, things like that. So you can throw different parties throughout the year. You know what to plan to see when you're planning that trip to Louisiana. You know, you may take a bed and get a bed and breakfast. You may rent a car so you can just drive the state. We have the Black History trails that go all around the state. There are so many things to do. And you see how this shrimp is cooking up? I'm just having a conversation with you. And while I'm having this conversation with you, my shrimp is cooking. My water is about to boil that I'm going to drop my pasta in. So when you're cooking, Timing is everything. So just remember, you don't have to wait for one thing to finish before you start on another thing. So make sure you're doing everything simultaneously so that when you finish, all the dishes are finished around the same time. So you don't want to have one thing cooling off while you're still waiting on another thing to cook. So, and I say that because for my professionals, that's a given. But for most people that you're at home and you're cooking, you like to wait for things to just finish up before you move on to the next thing. So my shrimp is almost there. So what I'm going to do, in here I have some of my Louisiana honey, and I also have just a pinch of sugar, and we have our mustard in here. That is going into the pan. It wouldn't be my signature sauteed shrimp if we didn't add all this in the pan. And that's going right on top of my lettuce and tomatoes. Nice and simple. Let that go on in there. I'm gonna let it cook. I'm actually gonna crank it up on high because now I want this moving around in this pan. Saute means to jump. We're gonna get this shrimp jumping, and we are not gonna overcook this shrimp, okay? So, all that's in. I want to see a little bit more pepper on there. Put it on there. All right, we're done with the oil. Let that go. I'm just going to let it sit. In here, we're going to put the pasta in just a second. So I will see you in a minute. So you're gonna just let this go. Look at that nice color that's getting on here. These babies are ready for my salad. I'm gonna turn the heat off. But before I put this on the salad, let me show you what we put on the salad. I got my lettuce, I got my tomatoes, I have my cucumbers. Look at all that. Remember, we're getting some greens in our diet every day. I won't show you all this wonderful Louisiana cooking if I can't get you to eat a little healthier. And the same goes for me. So I eat healthier now too. Add your water in there, add all that good stuff in there. But let's put this shrimp right here. Look at that. You see how the honey caramelizes on there? I cannot wait to dive into this here. You can add a little extra dressing on there if you like, so you can reserve some of the honey mustard to the side. Look at that. Do I need to come closer? I think you need to see this a little bit closer. Look at that. That's what you need in your life right there. Louisiana Gulf shrimp. Let me sit that right there. Now we're gonna make some pasta. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, so let me get my pasta going. And remember, in here we already have the salt in the water. Drop your pasta. Make sure you drop it away from you. That way we don't want you splashing anything on you. Clean spoon. Give it a stir. You don't want it clumping around. A little bit of oil in the water. If you don't want to put any oil in the water, that's fine. Just make sure you're stirring so it doesn't stick, okay? This is going to take about 7 minutes. So you let that cook. You want it al dente. You don't want it to bloom too much and get too soft on you, okay? So once this comes out, then we're going to work on our other dish. So right here, I'm going to pull this skillet, and in here, let me get my heat on. I'm going to let that go for a minute, and I am going to add some onion. Actually, let's take this. Come with me. Let's take this, let's get our ingredients chopped up, let's let this pan warm up the way it's supposed to warm up, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna put in here. So come on. So we're gonna get everything chopped up. Let's add some celery. I have my tomatoes on here. Actually, my tomatoes are gonna have a large rough cut. What do I mean by rough cut? It doesn't have to be any pattern to it, just cut it. We want a nice bite when we bite into it. Okay, I want some green beans in there. We're gonna sneak these veggies in one way or another. So we're gonna chop some green beans to go in there. You can add spinach in there. You can add whatever you like. Just kind of add it in there. You can add some fennel in here. It really doesn't matter. We're adding some sausage to it. I want to do some half moon. And if you don't eat sausage or you don't eat actual meat, don't put it in there. It's okay. You can do the same recipe without even adding the seafood. It can just be straight pasta and veggies. So the dishes that I'm showing you, a lot of them can be adapted to whatever your pasta style is. This same thing, you can take this and turn it into pastalaia. Pastalaia is almost the same as a jambalaya. You're gonna learn so many things when we're in the kitchen cooking together. So this is all, I need a little bit of onion. Take my onion, and you see I like to use red onions. You can use the yellow onions also. We also have Vidalia, Louisiana, where we have sweet Vidalia onions. Now you have to watch what you're putting those in because it will make your dishes a little sweet. They are awesome. You can turn them into a blooming onion. You can do so many things, onion rings. So look up Vidalia onion. Tell me what you think about it. Let's go make this dish. Come on. All right, pasta time. First off, drop the shrimp in. Now the heat is up a little higher on this one. This one is gonna go fast, actually. So we're gonna saute this shrimp a little bit. And I'm saying it's gonna go fast because I wanna show you, you don't have to get in the kitchen and stay all day long. That's not what Louisiana cooking is about. It's about smart cooking. Some things, it may cook all day long, but it's cooking while we're doing other things, like red beans. We'll get a chance to talk about that later and why, the history behind red beans and rice, okay? So let's let this go for a minute. While the shrimp is in here cooking, I'm also gonna add my Couturier sausage, my bell pepper, my tomatoes, my green beans that you're gonna put in here, because this dish is gonna be ready for you to eat. All right, get that in there. Look at this. See how it's all just coming together? All just coming together. I'm just gonna add a touch more of my Cajun spice on here, just to reinforce that Louisiana flavor. Because remember, this is what we're doing. I'm showing you my Louisiana kitchen. And these are the flavors that I like, that my kids have grown to love. This is what brought me to Louisiana. Actually, military brought me to Louisiana. But I was so happy to be there that 30 years later, I'm still there, cooking for you and spreading the love of Louisiana cuisine. So, you see how that's getting to this color right here? Now, we are going to add, I have some heavy cream here. I have a half cup of heavy cream. So pour that in. This is going to be my sauce. It's not going to be a overly thick sauce. I'm not adding any butter in here. So one thing that you can notice about my style of cooking, I like to lighten it up a bit. So you'll very seldom see me cook with butter unless I'm making a dessert or something like that. So just remember, you don't have to have that in everything that you're cooking. So, all right, let that go for a minute. Once my shrimp is cooked, my pasta is done. It's already been drained. Look at that. We're gonna add that in. We're gonna plate. So just stir it around like this here. I need about 2 more minutes on my shrimp. And we're gonna put this in, we're gonna toss it, and we are gonna enjoy, okay? All right, the shrimp is cooked in the sauce. We have our salad here. The pasta is in the bowl. Look at all that Louisiana deliciousness going in there. Sit that down. And I'm gonna take these 2 out just for my presentation. Presentation is key. Give it a nice little toss to let it get down in there, let that sauce coat. You don't want it overly saucy, at least I don't want mine overly saucy. You don't want it splashing all over you when you eat, but you do want it coated so that you taste that flavor in every single bite. Remember, everything in moderation. So you may think this is nice and rich, you're not gonna eat this every day. You're not gonna eat this by yourself. So everything in moderation. So let's get that back up to the top. Get the green beans. Let's see a little bit of everything that we have in here. Let me put my 2 shrimp back on top for my presentation. And We are going to give everything today a little bit more Mardi Gras. Okay, for my people in Louisiana, let me tell you this. Levez bon temps, roulez. Okay? Let the good times roll. I'm Chef Celeste. You're watching My Louisiana Kitchen. Let's eat.